Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for being here today. I hope you'll find it interesting and insightful. I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Kate Middleton appeared at a London hospital.
Kate Middleton appeared at a London hospital on January 8, 2026. She smiled. She shook hands. She looked healthy, but people noticed something was missing. Her engagement ring, the same 12-carat sapphire that once belonged to Princess Diana. The palace said it was removed for hygiene reasons, but the next day was Kate's birthday, and William said nothing publicly. A year earlier, Kate had shared a heartfelt tribute for his birthday. So the silence now? Body language experts went back through their videos. What they found raised more questions than answers. Kate Middleton's winter video arrived quietly on January 9, 2026, the day she turned 44, and it slipped into the world in a way no one expected. Instead of a polished portrait or a formal royal photo, she chose a short film, something soft and reflective, something far from the old traditions. It became the final part of her Mother Nature series that had begun back in May 2025 during Mental Health Awareness Week, and it carried the same calm tone she had used throughout that project. The film moved between the Cotswolds, Berkshire, and the Lake District, showing her walking through snow and dipping her hand into a cold stream while the fields around her shivered under frost. Her voice floated over the scenes, warm and gentle. And she spoke about stillness and healing and holding on to gratitude. She said that even in the coldest and darkest season, winter teaches patience and quiet consideration, and the line settled on people's screens like snowfall. Within hours, the video spread across her and Prince William's joint Instagram account, reaching millions, yet, the timing created an unexpected storm because Britain was facing its harshest winter in 10 years with energy shortages and rising living costs pressing on families everywhere. The calm beauty of her message felt too distant from the reality people were living, and the gap between her peaceful imagery and the country's struggle became the heart of the backlash. As the first 2 days passed, conversations online grew louder. Many felt the video was detached, almost floating above real life at a moment when people were choosing between heating and food and hospitals were fighting through crushing winter pressure. Her soft words about reflection collided with the public mood, and some questioned whether she understood what ordinary households were facing. What made things even sharper was that she and William had just visited Charing Cross Hospital, meeting cancer patients and volunteers who were dealing with hardship at ground level. The difference between that visit and the serene winter scenery seemed too wide. Even so, supporters defended her, saying the Mother Nature series was part of her healing journey after her undisclosed cancer diagnosis in January 2024, a journey she had gently shared piece by piece. People praised her creativity in her effort to talk about mental health in a new and quieter way. The debate only grew, and within the first week more than 2 million comments and shares were circulating, turning the video into a global conversation about the role public figures should play during a crisis. While people talked about the video itself, another thread emerged as body language experts revisited her earlier cancer announcement. In that earlier footage, Nicole Moore noticed something small but striking about Prince William. Just 30 seconds into the video, as Kate leaned on his shoulder, his eyes slipped upward and outward for a brief moment. Moore explained that this was a sign of internal discomfort, something a person does when they are overwhelmed or searching for emotional footing. Kate's eyes closed when she said the word treatment, a gesture tied to distress or a wish to soften painful memories. Those tiny cues carried a heavy meaning because they revealed the emotional toll the diagnosis had taken on both of them. The analysis spread quickly and people began replaying the footage frame by frame, trying to understand the private strain behind their calm exterior. It became one of those rare moments where a few seconds of silence showed more truth than hours of spoken explanation. That silence was connected to the day everything changed back in January 2024. On January 16, she entered the London clinic for a planned abdominal surgery. Kensington Palace said the surgery was successful and explained that she would stay in the hospital for 10 to 14 days before returning home. At that moment, the palace insisted her condition wasn't cancerous, and the public was told she would step back from royal duties until Easter. William paused several engagements to stay close to her, and the family shielded the details, which encouraged endless speculation across the country. People wanted answers, but the palace remained focused on protecting her recovery and saying as little as possible. Everything shifted again in late February 2024 when postoperative tests revealed that cancer had been present after all. This discovery meant she needed preventative chemotherapy, and her treatment began quietly under medical supervision. The palace chose to keep this development private for several weeks, giving her and the family space to absorb the news before sharing it with the world. Modern chemotherapy can vary in duration and strength. Yet, even the mildest version carries side effects and emotional strain. The secrecy was unusual, but it gave her time to gather strength for the moment she would eventually step forward and speak. On March 22, 2024, she finally shared the truth. The video she released that day carried a different weight from anything she had ever posted. She explained that the cancer had been found after her January surgery and that she was already undergoing preventative chemotherapy. She said the past months had been exceptionally challenging and thanked the medical team guiding her through it. She asked gently for privacy and space so she could focus in healing. Messages of support came from around the world, from King Charles and Prince Harry to U.S. President Joe Biden. Her openness touched people who were fighting their own battles and made Mandy feel seen in a way they had not expected. The next milestone arrived on September 9, 2024, when she announced she had completed chemotherapy. In a video message, she said she was now cancer-free, and the words felt like a breath released across the world. She described the previous 9 months as incredibly tough, but also filled with gratitude. She explained that the journey was not over and that maintaining her health would require ongoing care and attention. People responded with relief and hope. Her story had become a quiet source of strength for many who followed her updates during their own treatments. Her public return came on January 14, 2025, when she visited the Royal Marsden Hospital. It was her first engagement of the year, and during the visit, she revealed that her cancer was in remission. She admitted that it had been really tough and that the shock had taken time to settle. She thanked the staff with genuine emotion and spoke about adjusting to a new sense of normal. Her words resonated with patients and survivors who understood exactly what she meant. The visit marked a new chapter not only for her but for the wider message of cancer awareness that she had helped amplify. But even in moments of hope, people noticed William's body language. In the September 2024 cancer-free video, Moore pointed again to that precise 30-second on mark where his eyes moved upward and outward. It happened right as Kate shared a vulnerable part of her journey. And the motion signaled an internal flood of emotion he was trying to hold back. It suggested he was supporting her with everything he had, yet still wrestling with his own fear and stress. Viewers who went back to watch the moment said it suddenly felt different once it was pointed out. Moore also looked at his lip movements throughout the video. William often pressed his lips together, a gesture connected to stress and emotional restraint, the kind people use when they are trying to stay composed for someone they care about. His hand remained steady on Kate's back, offering support, but his micro-expression showed the weight he was carrying inside. Experts agreed that these mixed signals painted a picture of a man trying to be strong while quietly feeling overwhelmed. The reactions were not rehearsed. They were the kind of involuntary responses that slip through in moments of deep emotional strain. In June 2025, Dr. Cassidy from the British Psychological Society joined the conversation. She observed that William's upper lip tightened whenever he interacted with Kate. A tiny sign that pointed to emotional control and the effort to keep feelings from spilling out. It echoed the well-known British instinct to stay composed under pressure. Even though the gesture lasted only a few milliseconds, it confirmed that he was managing profound emotional stress while working hard to maintain dignity for both of them. Moore added another layer by noticing his shoulder position. He often stood slightly behind Kate, a gesture that signaled protection and reassurance, the physical equivalent of telling someone that you have their back. Yet those supportive movements were paired with the subtle discomfort in his expressions, revealing how he was trying to carry both his role as a husband and the emotional storm swirling inside him. It showed the quiet complexity of their relationship during one of the hardest chapters of their lives. Kate Middleton's Mother Nature series looked calm on the surface, but the way everything came together behind the scenes told a very different story. The filming stretched through 2025 and took place on private royal estates, and one of the main locations was Forest Lodge. It sat inside hundreds of acres of protected land hidden from the public, and the team treated it like a perfect backdrop for a wholesome family message. When the autumn episode came out in November 2025, viewers thought the children shown in the video were playfully invited on the spot. Yet every child had been carefully cast. This detail spread through UK media, and the talk grew louder when people learned that the nature centre used in the shoot had been temporarily shut down. Families who normally visited found locked gates instead of open fields, and teachers planning trips for their students had to cancel. Local papers wrote that inner-city children who relied on the center for outdoor lessons showed up only to be turned away. It felt strange to many because the episode told parents to take their own kids into nature while the location itself was closed for royal filming. That contrast grew sharper and spread quickly online, where the conversation shifted from curiosity to frustration. The closure itself became its own story. It happened in October 2025, right in the middle of the school field trip season. The center was a rare green space, especially for families from tightly packed urban areas. And suddenly, they had no way in because the royals were filming what people jokingly described as a cottagecore moment, social media filled with posts from disappointed parents and teachers. One report said that 32 school groups were turned away during those days. People pointed out how odd it felt to hear Kate promote simple family time in nature, while the very nature center she used had been blocked off from the public. The royal press office offered no explanation, and the silence made people speculate that privacy for the shoot had been the main reason the irony didn't pass quietly. It was shared and mocked across Reddit and Twitter, where users felt that the message and the reality had drifted far apart. That feeling deepened when the autumn episode carried a message about endurance. Kate encouraged viewers to endure and to find strength in nature. Yet, the setting off her message was Forest Lodge, a property known for its luxury and renovation projects. Reports said the family had moved through several fully furnished homes since 2020, each spread across wide acres and filled with custom pieces. People who watched the episode started comparing her words with the level of comfort surrounding her. It didn't sit well for many. Conversations unfolded across Reddit threads in places like Royalty Tea, where users pointed out how difficult it was to hear someone talk about endurance from a position far removed from daily struggles. Articles repeated this feeling, describing the message as tone-deaf and out of touch. The more people looked at the backdrop, the more they felt the gap between ordinary life and royal reality. At the same time, the series tried to present William and Kate as a simple couple who enjoy quiet walks and outdoor moments. The videos leaned heavily into that image. Yet, critics found the timing suspicious because the series arrived during a period of intense tension inside the royal family. The public noticed the rivalry between William and Harry, and many saw the Mother Nature episodes as part of a larger effort to shape public opinion. The cottagecore brand clashed with the ongoing battles over influence and reputation. Commentators wrote that it was hard to see the couple as ordinary hikers when they were deeply involved in a fight for public image. Viewers felt that the series softened their roles too much, ignoring the wealth, the complicated family dynamics, and the strategy behind the videos. It created an uneasiness for many who expected something more grounded. Then came a moment that shook everything far beyond branding. In early January 2026, Kate became one of the most high-profile victims of AI-generated sexual imagery. The images were created by Grok, an AI chatbot from Elon Musk's company xAI built into the platform X. Using public photographs, Grok produced fake pictures that placed Kate in revealing swimwear or sexualized poses. Thousands of women and even children were targeted in the same way. The Internet Watch Foundation received multiple reports, and Ofcom, the UK media regulator, contacted both X and xAI for immediate action. The scandal exposed a serious weakness in AI safety systems, particularly in the edit features that allowed users to work around restrictions. It set off alarms about how easily someone could twist innocent photos into something harmful. Behind palace doors, the reaction was emotional and private. Sources said Kate was deeply shaken and felt the violation hit old wounds she had tried to heal from. It brought back memories of the 2012 paparazzi incident in France when topless photos were taken without her consent. Insiders described the digital attack as painful and frightening, almost as traumatic as the first time because it blurred the line between reality and digital manipulation. Kensington Palace said nothing publicly, but those close to the family confirmed they were monitoring everything and exploring legal options. Experts warn that deep fakes carry a heavy psychological impact, especially for someone who has lived through privacy violations before. The scandal pushed conversations about mental health, digital protection, and the need for stronger laws forward, with New Urgency.x responded by admitting that some users had managed to generate revealing AI images despite safeguards. They claimed improvements were underway, but the damage had already spread across the internet before any removal efforts started. Elon Musk announced that anyone who tried to generate illegal content through the AI would face the same consequences they would have faced if they had uploaded the images themselves. Ofcom opened a formal investigation into both X and XAI to examine whether they were complying with online safety rules. The incident marked a shift in the global debate about AI ethics and what responsibilities tech companies must take on to keep people safe. On January 8, 2026, Kate made her first public appearance of the year at Charing Cross Hospital, standing beside William in a burgundy suit. People noticed immediately that her engagement ring was missing. That ring was one of the most recognizable symbols in modern royal history. It held a 12-carat Sri Lankan blue sapphire surrounded by 14 diamonds set in white gold and worth about £517,000. It had once belonged to Princess Diana, who chose it in 1981 for £28,500, which would be about £110,000 today. In moments like hospital visits, small details tend to stand out, and the absence of such a famous ring stirred speculation almost instantly. Rumors spread online within hours, some whispering about marriage trouble. The palace calmly clarified that the ring was removed for practical reasons. NHS guidelines require people to remove hand and wrist jewelry in clinical settings to prevent infection. Kate had followed the same rules in past visits, including in 2018 and again after her cancer remission in 2025. Even with that explanation, the ring carried a deep symbolic history that made its absence feel heavier. After Diana's death in 1997, William and Harry each chose one keepsake. Harry chose the sapphire ring while William chose a Cartier watch. Years later, when William decided to propose to Kate in 2012, Harry gave him the ring, reportedly in exchange for the watch. That story became part of their ring's legend. Over time, the ring became a reminder of Diana's legacy and a symbol of continuity. So, whenever it disappeared from Kate's hand, even for mundane reasons, people noticed. And this time, people noticed even more because her next public appearance came with another surprise. William did not publicly acknowledge her birthday on January 9, 2026, which felt unusual because Kate had posted a heartfelt message for his birthday the previous year on June 21, 2025. That silence mixed with the missing ring stirred new whispers about tension or distance. Royal insiders insisted the couple remained united. They pointed out that both William and Kate were carrying heavy responsibilities while still adjusting to their move to Forest Lodge. They said William was supporting Kate through ongoing personal challenges, including her recovery from previous health issues. Palace officials repeated that the ring had been removed only because of hygiene rules and that Kate wore her simple Welsh gold wedding band during the visit. Kate Middleton's recent nature videos landed in a moment when people were already tired and cold. So, the calm countryside scenes felt strange to many. The video came out in January 2026 for her 44th birthday, showing soft landscapes filmed in Berkshire and the Cotswolds. She spoke gently about healing and gratitude. While the winter around Britain was harsh and unforgiving, hospitals were full. Families struggled